What's up guys, Team True Villains here, and in this video Nikki and I will discuss the BT17 tier list, especially after the restriction list video which we made, so if you haven't watched this, check that video out first and then come back to this one. Also, before we start, we want to ask you kindly to subscribe to our channel. We want to reach 500 subscribers, so let's start with the list.
Alright, so let's start from the back. And let's talk about Shinegreymon.
Yeah.
Shinegreymon is a really strong deck. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so like when I played Shinegreymon in BT13 and also a bit in BT14, and there it was already strong. And then when they announced the new cards, I wasn't sure how I should feel about them, because for me, I don't like the new Agumon, the Geogreymon, and the Rice Greymon, but I really like the new Shinegreymon, which has the effect to play out Marcus for free. And I also like the new Marcus, which gives you another memory. It even gives you a blocker now. And you can even like have some cool plays where you place it on top of the security, and then when the opponent attack, you will get it out, and then you will give it blocker to have one blocker in the opponent's turn. And of course, the burst mode, sorry, it's amazing. So for me, I think it's tier 1.5. It's a good deck, not like the best, but it's strong. It's strong.
Yeah, we played against each other and I mean, it was so strong. It is so hard getting rid of a level 6 and you kinda need to attack, right? And
Yeah,
if your opponent has the Shinegreymon burst mode, you lose. So
yeah.
yeah, it's really strong.
It can literally swing the game in your favor. And also like you because of the new Shine effect, which says when it would be deleted except by battle, you can like return one Marcus back to the hand to have it protected, so the opponent isn't even able to delete you with effect and then attack, because you still then maybe have the Burstmon in hand. So yeah.
Hmm. Nice, so let's go to the next one, Galaxy. I played against Galaxy in the last Evo Cup, and it was quite strong. Um, they gain so much memory, they draw so much cards, and they will never brick.
Yeah.
So for me, only that they like it's so hard to brick with this deck um, is an indicator that it's good. It's on its own. It doesn't need any other support cards. I really like that. And yeah, I mean, if you can bring out the big guy, I mean, you're done with the game. And for me, it's tier two. It's
Yeah,
it's a strong
uh,
tier two deck.
yeah, for me also it's a strong tier 2 deck, not like quite there yet, but they will get more support, which will make the deck even more amazing and fun to play.
Hmm. And talking about fun to play, Diaboromon, one of the yeah, let's say one of the legendary decks back in the days, and it now had two sets which they got support. Diaboromon is strong. It is a cool deck. They have their own play mat, and I see a lot of play. It's a really cool deck, but I don't really know what to say. I think also it's tier two. It's not quite fun. It's not quite tier 1.5.
Yeah, I think it's tier 2. Like I played the Diaboromon a lot when it came out, and the new cards are great and have some synergy, but they don't really solve all the problems. And also like the new option card, which is like the first alternative win condition. The idea is so cool with the card, but it just doesn't work, because if you're trying to win on this one, the opponent can literally um, like play around that, or if you have one in the security, you basically if the opponent doesn't attack, you don't have a win condition anymore.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, I think they still need a bit more to be like meta compatible, but it's still a cool deck and it can win games because if you have a good setup, you have like a big, like multiple tokens after some turns, but you need specific cards. Like in the second turn, have the level for the lets you play the errata for free and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it has to be specific what you have in hand.
Yeah. Okay, to the next one. This is Omnimon. So the Omnimon Ace, I put Greymon in because they played, and yeah, it's a cool deck. I mean, every DNA deck is cool somehow, just like the Galaxy one. I saw a bit of play because, yeah, I mean, Omnimon is one of the fan favorites, but I can't really say. I mean, it can win games, but for me, it's on the lower tier two end, not quite. It's stronger than Fundex
Now, for
because
me, I would, yeah.
you know why they're tier two? They play the BT17 Metalgarurumon, which freezes the board, and if they can get to this card, I mean, you you buy a turn, and then if you can ace, yeah, I mean, it would be unfair to put Diaboromon tier 2 and this to fun.
No, I personally will place it to fun just because then we have another deck in the fun section, and also like I think it's a bit of a one-trick pony. So if you're like after the first game, when an opponent knows what you're up to, they basically are able to so easily play around it.
I mean, yeah, that's
So
true. Yes, that's true. You can play around it. That is true. But I think it can win.
absolutely.
Now, Dexter a deck which is much anticipated. It was Japan's most like the strongest deck for a time, and it didn't get hit. And I think this deserves to be our first tier one deck.
Yeah.
It's so sticky on the board. It's strong. It can delete Tamers, Digimon. It can force to block, so they Digivolve for free. They Digivolve from trash. This deck is so cool.
Yeah, even like to save to if something will be deleted or DP redocked, you can digivolve from grave and then like stop the deletion because your Digimon is now stronger. So I would also put it in tier one.
Hmm.
It's such a great deck.
Really strong. Rapidmon, what's your take?
Um, I personally would say Rapidmon like higher tier 2, lower tier 1.5 because it's still strong deck, but like it's not the best.
Hmm.
Like if you play a Rapidmon deck, why not just switch to Yellow Vaccine? Of course, Yellow Vaccine was hit in the restriction list, which we will also say a bit more when we go to the deck. So maybe some of you want to switch to Rapidmon. I personally like it because I like Rapidmon. It's such a cute, cool card. It has such amazing effect, but also like the opponent is able to play around it, which makes it a bit weaker
Hmm.
because then they won't like swarm the board with little Digimon, which you can like delete for free. So if the opponent plays smart, it has less impact. So that's why I would put it in tier 2. But personally, for me, it's so fun. It's a cool deck, but this is not my like fun list or what I want to play. This is the tier list.
Yeah, I like this deck. I mean, this for me the green deck
Mhm.
where you play Rapidmon and Mega Gargomon, and with the ST Mega Rapidmon, which is like invincible from getting off the board, and Mega Gargomon, and now Rapidmon. It's really strong. Let's see if it's going to switch up a bit or stay in tier two. For me, it's okay where it is right now. What for me also is a tier two deck is Tyrantkabuterimon. Um, it was hyped a bit too much in my opinion, but for me this is like the classic tier 2 deck. it's strong, it can do stuff, but it doesn't win as often.
Yeah, I think it was just strong because it should have countered like Magnum X. That's why a lot of player played it, because you were able to play like bigger things. But to be honest, in the regional which I played against 3 of this deck, which should have countered my deck, but I won all 3 matches. So it didn't even do that good. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even after the restriction list, it won't change its position that much.
Mhm.
Let's see with future support, but with BT17 and the cards that we have now, I think it's a good place in tier 2.
Absolutely.
Now to one deck that I think is gonna be tier 1 is gonna be Takim Kazuchi. It ah it's so strong. It's now really strong, and it only lost to Numemon, Blue Hybrid, and Magnamon. These cards were hit, so there's like nothing that can stop this deck right now.
Yeah, I also think this is one of the strongest decks, and it can literally win turn 2. If you want to see the combo, you can write this down in the comment and we'll do a video about this. But yeah, it's so amazing. And also, like you said, they hit Numemon like the counter of this deck, so it's even better now.
So yeah, for me this is gonna be one of the most lethal decks, and yeah, putting it in tier point 1.5 isn't just gonna justify it.
Absolutely agree.
Now to yeah, Osman. I don't know what to say. It's cool that they got support. Um, it's a cool, um, yeah, with the tamers that they block on play effects and tamer effects. I mean, that's really cool. It needs setup, so that's why I don't really like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a cool fun deck, and against some specific decks, it can be really annoying to play against them because you can unsuspend your tamers, you can activate your on play effect, but to be honest, it needs setup. And if you like play out against this deck your tamers or turn 1 before they have like the setup with Minoa Bellucci and everything, it basically doesn't do their thing. So yeah.
Hmm. And it's quite expensive with the promo. How's the little green
Morphomon,
Morphomon? Yeah,
yeah.
and now it's really expensive. So I mean, it could be surprising to play someone that maxed this out and really plays this deck and knows how to play it. It could be for someone tier 2, right? But
Yeah.
that's not the case.
Yeah, I also think that's the problem, that like you have a, it's a bit more expensive for just fun decks, so even less people are trying it out or like finding a good deck lists. So yeah, I
Hmm.
also think that restricts it, because like if you have multiple players that play a deck, you will automatically get better decks because then you find out better ratios and everything. So yeah.
Hmm. One deck that in my opinion, is gonna be a bit stronger now. Red Hybrid,
Yeah.
because the restriction list didn't really hit it. They don't really need the promo common. They don't really need Louis. And now that the other decks are a bit less strong, I think for me this is our second tier 1.5 contender.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the matchups, it can even be tier 1, but I would say overall tier 1.5. It's an amazing deck. We also have a deck profile, like a winner deck profile on our channel, so you can check this out if you want to play it. It's an amazing deck. It can like literally um, delete all your opponent's security. It can play around a lot of decks. It now even has counters against their counters, like with the new Ancient Greymon with the on-play effect. So I would say it's a really strong deck. It can even be tier 1, but depending on the matchups, I would also place it on tier 1.5.
Hmm. Now a deck that had some things revealed, and we're all hyped as I am like a really big Buildmon fan. In BT19 we're gonna get some support, and then this big boy is gonna go up. But
Yeah,
I
right now
think
it's
it's a solid tier 2 deck. It's not winning constantly. Let's say it's in the lower end of tier 2. Um, it can do its shenanigans. You can trash your opponent's security, and I mean there are players that really know how to operate with this deck and like OTK you.
yeah. Like I played in the, of course, it was a bit a long time ago. I played in the European Championship against a good player, and yeah, so it really needs a good pilot, which you can like extract all the value from the deck. So but it's not stronger than tier 2 in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. Three angels. Let's talk about three angels. Um,
Ah,
it got hit on
yeah,
the list. TK is gone, and it was solid. I didn't think that it would be this solid. Omnimon it was really strong, and it could climb with Patamon, then for free into level 4. Then if Emissary, you go into the Magnamon, or how is it called, level 5, the yellow blue one. And when
yeah,
he digivolves or attacks, he can digivolve from security. So yeah, it was it could do things, but now that it's got hit, I think it's in the fun category.
yeah. No, I think it can still be tier 2, because of course the hit um, was great against it, but I think it's still stronger than the Fundex.
Yeah,
Because
okay,
if you
that's
have
true.
because if you have your setup, you're basically invincible. You have so much value. You have answer against like any other deck. So I would place it in tier 2. And yeah,
Okay, now let's talk about the deck that really got hit. Three cards, three cards from this deck were hit.
damn, I think it's a fun deck. It's not. No, I'm just joking, guys.
No, I think it's still stronger than Red Hybrid,
Yeah,
but I don't know where to put it. It's like,
I will put it tier 1.
yeah, it is tier 1. I mean, Ancient Garuru on his own is really strong. It does too much. Um, I mean, it does what Mirage does, but both effects. It bounces
Hmm.
something and bounces um,
A
a
security.
security to hand. So, and after that, you have much more. Like you take one card to hand and you play a tamer for free. So it does a lot. But let's see what the people are going to cook with this. Pepsi Hybrids is going to die, I think. Nobody's going to play a red base. Or maybe they're going to expand the red base now that Ukomon is gone and Louis is gone. But
Yeah.
let's see what the future brings.
Yeah, I think it's like tier 1 deck. I personally don't really like the deck. I played it a lot. I play tested it and also brought it to a tournament because you need like specific combo. But if you have the combo, you basically win against anybody. So yeah, like I had to play with this deck also against Dexter-Greymon and against new Fenrir Logamon, which I was like, when I didn't have the combo, I just lost horribly. But one time I had the combo turn 2 and turn 3, and I was just able to win. My opponent wasn't able to do anything. So I would put it in tier 1 because no matter against what you play, if you have the combo, you basically win.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's put in a tier 1, and let's see how people are gonna play this deck right now.
Yeah.
Gallantmon, one of the decks that I really like, but it's ass.
Yeah. Put it to fun, and then let's talk about the next thing.
I'm sorry, people. I really like Gilmon and all the these cards from that season of Digimon,
Gamers, yeah.
and but it's not doing that what it's supposed to do. Maybe it's gonna shift up a bit. Let's hope. But now that Numamon got hit, I don't think. I mean, this was like the Numamon Slayer, right? You deleted
Yeah.
everything, you did your shenanigans, but you didn't do anything against other decks.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like, if the opponent has a bigger graveyard or like trash, it has better effects. But against so many decks, they don't even have that big of trash, just because they win so fast. So you can't even trash their security. So yeah, let's go
Okay.
with the next deck. Phoenixmon. I would put Phoenixmon, yeah, between 1.5 and 2. I think if you have a really good pilot that knows what they're doing, it's an amazing deck. It can win a lot of games, but it can also like be countered easy.
Mm-hmm. It was a kind of, of a surprise deck of
Yeah,
BT16, and I mean it took some games off of me. Must be like yeah, honest. It can do stuff, but if it is on the same level with Shinegreymon, I wouldn't say.
yeah,
But if it is it, I mean, I need to put it like more like this.
yeah. And just to say, guys, like with this right now for Phoenixmon, for the other ones like Grace Nova and everything, there's like no specific order.
Yeah, that's like no order, right? Yeah, I mean, it's just a bit
Just like
stronger. Yeah.
Phoenixmon to say, yeah, it's higher tier of tier 2, but not like tier 1.
And Mastermon, a deck that with the right pilot is also really strong, and I will
Yeah,
put it in tier two.
yeah, makes sense. I mean, it's a good list, but also like for me, the problem with like ace-based boss monster decks, the opponent is able to play around it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a good opponent that knows what they're doing and like knows what to prioritize, it makes the deck a lot weaker. But it has a surprise factor, especially if your opponent doesn't know what your cards do and everything. So yeah, then it's a lot stronger. But I would say like let's talk that you play against good opponents. I would place it in tier 2.
Mm-hmm. Now Ragna Lordmon, which also took some decks like by surprise, it won a regionals, which win a regionals, right? Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's tier two. It's not quite there yet, but still a strong, solid deck. And I think this is like a deck which, if someone starts playing Digimon, it's not that um, expensive, and it has cool features. It looks cool. It can do stuff, and I would recommend it to everyone that wants to start playing Digimon.
absolutely agree. Yeah.
Now, 7 Great Demon Lords. With the order decks restricted, this can go even up to tier 1. What do you think?
I would place it just to be more conservative to 1.5 because I also think it's a really good deck, and especially now where they restricted like Numemon and Magnaix, it's even better because it doesn't have so many strong contenders. But I would just play it safe and put it to
Mm-hmm.
1.5.
I mean, this is like the dream of every purple player. Like play all the boss monster of purple, and you can do stuff, and you OTK your opponent, and it's really cool. But
Yeah,
um, and it's strong. Like, don't get me wrong, it's like really strong.
yeah,
Now, now we come like to the juicy part. Like now now it's getting hard.
yeah. Like now, these are just our predictions, guys. Like before the list, we thought like Numemon was of course one of the best decks. Now I would place it down to again higher tier 2, 1.5. I think like what also like a strong part was from Numemon that like a lot of players got hooked into it, and then they found out like the perfect ratio and how to make it even better, and that a lot of players played it. So that's also like important to compare a deck with the conversion rate into the tops. So now after they hit, it could be that a lot of Numemon players like want to forget the deck and play something else, and then of course like you have less player play this, less player perform, so it may seem a bit weaker than it is, but it's still a strong deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's see if Numemon can surprise us once more. I mean,
Yeah,
there's for sure one-trick ponies that don't want to give up the deck. And I mean, it's active since BT15, and that's quite a lot of time. That was last year, right?
yeah,
So it's okay that it got restricted. It's okay that it falls a bit down, and newer decks like these decks gain a bit more uh, popularity. And I mean, just like with Mirage, I mean, I play it since BT11, and it still is in the meta. And for me,
yeah,
it's not a tier 2 deck. I mean, I can top easily any event with this.
yeah. I would also place it high tier 1.5. One of the strong decks. Also, like it can basically OTK um, everything. I would just say it's a bit worse than ancient
Mm-hmm.
Garurumon
Mm-hmm.
because it does similar things, maybe even a bit better. But yeah, I mean, it's still a strong deck.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, Mirage players, we just need to wait 3 weeks, 4 weeks for EX 7, and then we're gonna get the Hexablaumon, the new one, and this is like such a good addition to the deck, and it's really what it needs. And I think then it's gonna be again tier 1 reigning like on top
Yeah.
before. Now to your baby, what do you think?
Um, I personally would place like Magna X just like lower tier 1.5. Um, just because like if you are able to bring out the Magnamon X early on, you are able to steal a lot of games. Also, like I realized it in the last tournaments I played, like some opponents didn't know what to do against it. So, and then it may even like take more opponents by surprise because like the the people aren't playing cards against it anymore. Like with Ukumon and restricted to one, I think almost nobody will play the Digimon Emperor anymore, which is also like good for the yellow vaccine because it was a hard counter against Patamon. So yeah, it's still a lot weaker because you can't like reliably go turn 2 into a Magnamon X. You also have less chance to get a level 4 in your security with just one TK. And also like an important part with the TK restriction, you take like away a card which lets you protect the Magnum on X before attacking into security. So this factoring all this in, I would say it's a lower tier 1.5. It's still stronger than the tier 2 deck, so I would place in tier 1.5, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it's worse than like the top decks.
Yeah, and now coming to one deck that yeah was a bit lackluster in before the restriction list, I think, because yeah, Magnamon did it faster, Numemon did it faster. Any other decks, I know they were just a bit faster, and I still think it's gonna be tier 1.5. It's not gonna be tier 1, even though they have like one of the best ace cards. But now that Numemon is not there anymore, like, what do you wanna bottom deck? I mean, okay,
I've
these two decks, okay, yes, you can bottom deck, but you play one, maybe two of the
yeah,
paladin modes. So let's see. I mean, I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's gonna be too fast now, but
yeah. For me, I could even imagine it tier 1 just because like Imperialdramon was one of the few decks that didn't include any Ukomons, so it didn't get hit by this. So and now also like without the Ukomon and everything, you are not able to rush this deck that fast, like rush against this deck. So which gives it maybe an extra turn, and this is all what Imperialdramon needs,
mm-hmm,
like that extra turn to like maybe set up the tamer so next turn you can play one out for free and then go into the DNA and everything. So I would say it can be tier 1.
Yeah,
I
it can
honestly
be tier one.
think.
Yeah, I also think. And for me, to be honest, this tier list, like tier 1 to tier 1.5, I would say the rate is like 60 to 40. It's like not 100 to 50, you know? It's like they're close to each other. So they're
Yeah,
really, really close to each other. So I mean, we could do it like this, you know. I mean,
yeah,
all these decks have a chance against each other, and
yeah,
it's like just a small difference that makes this deck a bit better. Just a small difference, and they
yeah.
didn't
Like
get hit. Yeah.
absolutely. Like they have a slight advantage, but like always depending on the pilot of the deck, always depending on like who's your opponent and everything, or like if they also play the deck perfectly, it can also switch so fast.
Mhm.
Because I played against some players that play Imperial Demon so good, and I was struggling so much against it. But then I also played against some other players where I thought, okay, Imperial Demon seems like just a fun deck because it literally doesn't do anything. So it really depends on the pilot. But we just did the list like if both players played their deck respectively very well, and also like know how to counter the opponent's deck, the tier 1 deck have a slight advantage, but still everyone from the tier 1.5 can win a tournament.
Mhm. And yeah, thank you for these words right now. I think this concludes the video really good. And this is just a prediction. Let's see what the future is going to bring. But I'm really happy that this happened, that the restriction list is also going to be active for us, because we can enjoy our own BT17, EX7 um, meta without
Yeah,
looking at Japan. So yeah, that's like one step to March next year, where it's gonna fuse. But I really like this. Now we can really go and let's see what we can do with Ancientgreymon. Let's see what we can do with Shinegreymon, and yeah, it's gonna be a
yeah,
fun time for us Digimon players right now.
absolutely agree. So thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe. We will bring more content in the next few days. So see you around.
I see you guys. Bye.